The world of work is changing in ways that none of us could have ever imagined.
Johnny C. Taylor Jr. is the president and CEO of SHRM, the world's largest HR association. He's advised U.S. presidents and shaped national workforce policy. CEOs tell him things they won't tell their own HR leaders. And today, he's sharing their biggest frustrations with human resources.
I'm at an event with about 50 CEOs, and I said, I want you to be honest. What do you think about HR? 10% love, 60% tolerate, 30% of this room said, I actually don't like the person at all. Why don't you just replace them?
Yeah, get them out.
Right. And the answer was, I don't think it'll get any better.
Oh.
Let's go. Okay, let's go.
All right. Johnny, it's so good to be with you.
It is so great to be here. And I mean that, I just love your work. I love
Thanks.
what you stand for. So I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Well, we're talking about something that I know you and I are both passionate about that I don't think we talk about enough. And that's this relationship. The relationship, I'm just pretending. I know I love Jim Link.
Yes.
But the relationship between the CEO and the chief HR officer, chief people officer, chief work officer, whatever this role is, talk to me about how you see that relationship in your world and organization at SHRM, and then with all the wonderful companies you get to interact with.
You are hitting the sort of the nail on the head here. And I'm going to tell you anecdotally something that happened. So I'm at an event with about 50 CEOs of, call it the Fortune 250. So these are the big company CEOs. And for those who are listening, this applies to all CEO relationships, but this is my situation. So I'm sitting there and I'm giving them permission. I'm the HR speaker. And I said, I want you to be honest. What do you think about HR?
Oh, I love it.
What do you think about your CHRO? And so I let them open up and talk. And so let me tell you where we landed. And this is rough math, but it's pretty darn accurate. I asked the question, how many of you love your working relationship with your CHRO? Then I asked the second question, how many of you tolerate your CHRO? How many of you don't like your CHRO? I mean, just literally would. So the math goes this way, 10% love, 60% tolerate, 30% of this room said, I actually don't like the person at all. I don't even know why they're there. I avoid them. I was shocked. And again, this wasn't SHRM scientific research validated, but I'm giving you real numbers on a group of people. And this was the sentiment. And I think it represents, think about that. 10% of them are in love. And you have been in that situation. And I have been in that situation that I knew this was like the right chemistry and we made magic.
Yes.
And I've also worked in situations where we kind of tolerated each other. By the way, HR people, this is not like the CEO's always right. It's just, that's what we just do our jobs and we do what we do. I've also had one instance in my career where I literally did not like being there, and I'm convinced they didn't like me being there. Like it just is what it is. But 30%. So I asked, this is the part to just get to it. I said, so of the 30% of you, like what's going on there? Why don't you just replace them?
Yeah, get them out.
Right. And the answer was, I don't think it'll get any better.
Oh.
It hurt me to my heart.
It hurts me too.
Because you're saying that this is just what you think about HR, that it's never going to be great. It's never going to even be good to the point of me tolerating it, but this is a necessary evil. That math, 10, 60, 30, is why this conversation is so important. We as HR professionals have to really look at the man or the woman in the mirror and say, so where am I? Ask that question. And then what am I going to do about it? So I remember sitting down with the CEO for whom I was working. For those who don't know, I've been a Fortune 500 CEO, a CHRO. I've been a CHRO of a division in a Fortune 500 company, Paramount. Like I've done all of these jobs, and I've been at small companies. LendingTree, which was small when I started. And still is relatively small. I was at Blockbuster when it was small. So like I got the gamut of all of this. It's really interesting. So I asked him, I said, what's going on there? And what can we do about it? And I think we have to engage in some serious introspection. Because I don't actually think some of those CHROs were bad CHROs in the 30%. I think they were misplaced. Right. They were in an organization where no matter what they did, they would never be valued. I was in one of those before, and I literally got to the point where I said, this is a Fortune 500 job, but guess what? There are 499 others. Yes. And you have to come to grips with that this dog won't hunt.
Right.
For any number of reasons, I am not going to connect with this person. I'm not going to be successful. And why should you remain in a situation where you work so hard, you give your everything to it, and you're not valued?
So then which side of the fence does it lie on, Johnny? Is it, we hear from CHROs, my CEO doesn't value me. The CEOs say, I just don't want to work with this person. What is the impact to value that can be created by the organization when there's breakdown in this relationship?
I mean, let me tell you, it's all wrong. You want to talk about a headwind in a business? If the CHRO and the CEO are not compatible, if it's just not going to work, and it's not just those two don't get along, it is a drag on the organization. Mm-hmm. The CHRO, who should be your go-to player, you've been in those shops where I have been the go-to person. I had a CEO who just literally didn't do anything, even in their personal lives, without my opinion, right? And that's when you know it's going. When it doesn't, however, the organization feels it, profoundly so. I'm the person who's, and I'm CHRO, the keeper of the culture. Yep. And I don't even have a good relationship with the CEO. How can I keep this culture? I'm the person who's selling the organization to people. I'm inviting you to come work here. And then you're not going to do it. I'm the person that when the employee comes in and starts complaining about the culture here, if I actually agree with that person, right? Just think about what I'm not doing from a value point of view or perspective. So it's really, you asked that question, like, I think ultimately it's the CHRO. Because let's just face it, the CEO is whomever he or she is going to be.
That's it.
And only the board can fire them. So it doesn't matter what I think about them. So what I've got to do, though, is not just when I run into someone who I'm not totally aligned with, I then have to use my persuasion skills. Yeah. I've got to convince them of the value of what I do and my team, what we collectively do. And that then is incumbent upon us to make the business case. Like, listen, we may not want to spend the weekends hanging out together, but I'm really, really valuable to you. And what we do matters. That is incumbent upon us. And once you've done that math, though, once you've explained it and the person still doesn't get it, then you leave. Have the courage to leave. But the immediate answer is not, I'm out, or he or she doesn't get it. The CEO doesn't get it. They are the customer. Remember that line about the customer's always right?
Yes. They're always right.
They're always right. So you got to figure out how to work with them. They don't have to actually, a friend of mine, this horrible situation, but he had an accident. And she had an accident and ran into a tree. The funny thing is, the tree wasn't going to give. The tree said, I've been here 100 years. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here.
My roots are deep.
Your car's in trouble.
Yes.
But you're in trouble.
Yeah.
The airbag deflates. But that tree didn't move. In many ways, that's what we as CHROs face, is the CEO is who the CEO is. And either I think I can convince them and persuade them and show them the value, or I can't. And if it's the latter, it's time for me to leave.
That is the truth of it. That's the advice you and I give most people in the role. It's time for you to go.
Time to go.
So with your CEO hat on, how can I earn that with you? How can I be the weed next to the tree?
That's right.
Or the flower.
Or the flower. That's right. Use the flower. I talk about the 3 C's. Now, first, I'm a lawyer, so everything is in threes. And I use alliteration a lot. So starts with, and I've gotten this from a lot of CEOs and from my perspective. 1, you need to be competent. More than competent. That's the first C as a CHRO.
Can I ask a question just about that?
Right.
Is it EQ or IQ for you?
It's both.
Okay.
You got to be smart. Yep. You need an IQ because the people, your business clients, they're smart.
They are.
Right? So if you don't know your business, if you don't understand, you're going to fail. So it's EQ and IQ. Mm-hmm. You also need to understand the body of work. That is HR.
That's your business.
Right.
Yes.
We're supposed to be the people experts in the room. Mm-hmm. And if you don't actually understand this, now that doesn't mean I loved you talking the other day, this morning, about people doing rotations. Yeah. But you've got to know HR. That's like coming to see a lawyer and that lawyer doesn't know the law.
Right.
Now, there are hundreds of different types of specialties in the law, but I need some comfort that when I'm in a room, my general counsel is the smartest person about the law.
Yes.
You must be the smartest person in the room around the business table when it comes to people. Now, everyone thinks they know people, but you have to prove that you're the smartest person. So competence in HR. Secondly, you've got to be literally the confidant to your CEO. So got to be really competent. And then that person has to be your go-to, but they have to trust you. They've got to come to you and say, this is how I'm actually feeling about that person on this team. They have to trust you. As I said, my CEO used to tell me about what's going on in his marriage, more than I wanted to know.
Oh, I've heard it all.
All, right? But it impacted him at work.
Yeah,
so
did.
I was the person who helped him. I was his Wendy from Billions, if anyone wants.
That is the job, though.
That's the job.
It is.
It is the job. Help get the most out of people and help manage that CEO, all that comes with him or her.
I talked to a CEO last week. They're using AI for it. Say, treat me like I'm Wendy and give me that advice.
That's right. Isn't that something?
It's amazing.
But that requires a level of trust.
It does.
I have to trust you implicitly. I can't think you're the HR police.
Yep.
And so if I come tell you how I really feel about something, that will be used against me at another time. You see, as a former lawyer, what I know is that if my client, the CEO, comes and tells me something, it's locked. It can't go anywhere because of attorney-client privilege.
That's right.
There is no such thing officially for HR people. So as a result, I, as a CEO, if I don't trust you, I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going through. I'm not going to tell you what I'm thinking because it will be used or can be used against me later. So you have got to build the successful CHRO, to answer your question, must be the confidant to the CEO about everything.
Yep.
And the third area is courage.
Yes.
It's it. You got to be competent. You must be the smartest person in the room when it comes to people. You must be the confidant to your CEO, and you've got to have courage. And you've done it times when you walk in and no matter what, you're like, listen, that's not the right place to go. It just isn't. And the willingness and the courage. But here's the deal. You cannot be courageous in your job if you're not competent and if you're not the confidant, right?
It's true.
The courage
You
can't
have to have
come.
all of them.
Right. You need all three. That to me is the secret sauce. And as a sitting CEO, and I've now been one for 16 years in different settings, for-profit and nonprofit.
Yes.
When I have a CHRO who checks all three of those boxes, we are cooking with grease, as we say in the South.
It's
right?
so good.
Life is good.
Yes.
But 2 of 3, 1 of 3 doesn't work. And so back to that, remember I talked about the 10, 60, 30?
Yes.
When the person has 1 of those 3, they're in the 30 box.
Yes.
When they have 2 of the 3, they're in the middle 60%. When they have 3 of the 3, they're part of that 10%. And boy, I am at my best as a CEO when I have that CHRO.
It's magic. It's pure magic.
Yes.
Can you share an example when you've had that magic and you were in conflict or you had a significant situation that tested both of you?
Yes. So I have to protect the innocent. Remember lockbox.
We
I won't
are
use
in a
names.
lockbox.
Right. And so I was a CEO and I had the CHRO comes into me. I fully trusted this person. I won't even give him gender. Trying to protect everyone. Again, that's that confidant nature.
It is.
So the person comes in, my CHRO comes to me and says, one of your senior executives, very productive, has been accused of inappropriate behavior in the workplace. And the CHRO's recommendation was to terminate him. And
Had they done the investigation?
Yes. And what happened, this is interesting, we kind of disagreed about the severity. You know, we've been there, right?
We've been there.
Where, you know, there's the thing, A, you did this, which is no question. And then there's this middle gray area where it was wrong. What he engaged in was absolutely inappropriate. And I'll tell you, I can just be very transparent about this much. Dating a subordinate. Tough one.
But it happens all the time.
Happens all the time. And so people shouldn't live. And that was the thing. I was on the CEO side saying, are you serious? Yeah. I'm going to lose 2 really good people over this. And that's not good math. Like, it's just not.
No.
You're telling me both people are really talented and no one feels forced in it. And I know some of you, I know if anyone's listening, the traditional HR people are going to be like, Johnny, that's an easy one. You don't date, Coldplay, like they're going to go on and on and on, right? But stop. As the CEO, you're telling me that I'm going to lose a star for a fully consensual situation that frankly, we didn't even know what was going on, and we wouldn't know if some nosy employee hadn't told us.
Right.
So how do we fix this versus the easy answer, which is fire both of them, or at a minimum, fire my senior person? We had a tussle over that, me and my CHRO. And because I trusted the CHRO, we could talk honestly. And I was like, are you serious? You think this will hurt the business? I said, have you talked to the employee? Does any part of this, does she feel like she was forced to do this? Is she frankly in love with her? Like, let's just talk about
Talk about all the things.
All of the factors. And she said, but our policy says. I said, well, how about changing the policy? If we know people are dating at work anyway.
Right.
And guess what? It works sometimes. Barack and Michelle.
Yes.
They're examples of the Obamas. They worked at the same law firm. She was senior to him, blah, blah, blah. They dated, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so when it works, it works.
Yes.
So if everybody's fine, what's it me? I'm going to fire two talented people because of this? No, I'm not doing that.
No.
So we had a tension. We solved it. And we resolved in, like, let's ensure that there's no legal risk that the person, we got everybody to come in and sign and say, yeah, I like dating this person and blah, 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 right?
I don't feel harassed.
We don't feel harassed.
I'm not being held hostage.
Everything's good. I've not given this person higher increases or bonuses over other people. And we're going to monitor that going forward, by the way. But I'm going to continue to let them work together.
It's amazing.
That's what I want as a CEO.
Yeah.
And my CHRO had to evolve with me to understand why that was the right decision under those circumstances.
Yeah.
Neither of them was married. There were things, any single factor could have changed the outcome of the decision.
Yes.
But for us, the easy answer for that CHRO was fire him.
Well, it often is the easiest.
Yes.
It takes the least amount of thought. It follows the policy. It stays within guide rails.
And no courage.
No courage. That is the biggest thing.
That's right.
And what is right for the business.
That's right. That's right. No, totally. That's the big question mark.
Yes.
Don't use, I've learned, policies to as sort of a tool to make your job easy. The policies, there are some rules, there's some guidelines, there's some places you cannot get outside of this box. If you're harassing someone, if there's some force,
right.
anything like that, there's no room for that. It's not great. But here are two people who decided to, and as I said, there are a number of examples. Heck, historically, a number of CEOs' wives were once their EAs, right?
It's true, yes.
So it was happening anyway. And then it's especially acute, if you will, with the younger workers.
Yes.
Who do you think they're going to know?
Well, and they don't have anywhere else to meet people.
Right? Proximity matters. We know there's a proximity bias. So I'm spending all day with these people. Now, we could argue that's good or bad. And some people have like, do I think it's a good idea? Probably not. But if you two can figure it out, and HR, your role is not to break up the relationship.
No.
Your role is to make sure the company is protected, that the company is aware of it. We have a rule now at SHRM as part of our policy. Date who you want to date. Everyone. But what you must do is the two of you have to go to HR.
Be transparent.
Be transparent. Sign off that says, I'm not being harassed. I'm not expecting anything, special favors, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And if you break up and you break up at my office and all hell breaks loose, then both of you are gone then.
Yes.
Right? You just say it. That's the policy that's realistic versus people shouldn't date at work. How dumb is that? In my opinion.
Yes. This example is so useful. So talk about confidence with this.
Yes.
In that example, your CHRO wasn't going out to the rest of the executive team and saying, well, Johnny was really on the fence about this.
Right.
He really debated this. I'm not sure. Right. You can't take it out of the circle of trust.
You can't.
Ever.
Trust, and that's why it's a circle.
It is.
There's no off ramps, right?
There's no exit,
It's better stay in here.
Yeah.
When you have that, it's magic. When you have that trust, and it's not one-way trust. It's not
two-way.
That's right. It's two ways, because the flip side is we're human beings too as CHROs.
We are.
And there are times when you're going to come to your CEO and say, listen, I made a bad judgment call. I'm not doing this. I'm doing, there are ways, this has to be Pastor Penitent, clergy, whatever it goes, right?
Yes.
Attorney, client, whatever. It has to be a box.
It does.
And here's what's really interesting about it. It's got to be a box that lasts past the moment. So I worked, and I'm going to be really careful here. I worked for someone who, as their CHRO, who held a very personal secret. And I saw it. I knew it. None of my business, right? I'm not stupid, right?
Right.
But because of our relationship, I kept it absolutely till I never released it. Subsequently, this person told the world. And I got calls. Now, this is a decade or so later. People, you must have known. I said, what? That was my answer. What? Because even after I left, because other CEOs are watching you to see.
They are.
Right. You left your last company. Do you go in the market and tell everyone all the secrets you knew from that CEO? That's horrible, HR. And when we do that, we lose trust. Not only your trust with that CEO, which you may say doesn't matter because you don't work for that person anymore, but it harms the HR, the reputation of the profession.
Yes.
When people think that we would take stuff later and put it out there. How many cases have you investigated over your career at former companies that you could now, you don't work there anymore. You could go out in the street and say, yeah, I investigated this case and this was going on and she stole this. And you can't do that.
Can't do that.
HR loses its credibility when it can't maintain confidentiality.
Well, even a step further, I lose my credibility.
That's right.
I lose my integrity.
That's right.
And that's where it confuses me, Johnny, where we don't need a policy. What about just human integrity?
How about that part?
Of being a stand-up individual that you can count on no matter what. Like, I have your back no matter what. Employed, unemployed, doesn't matter. I might ask you the hard questions.
That's right.
I may not agree all of the time. I'm going to tell you directly.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a decision. I have this phrase at SHRM. It's our final guiding principle. We have 6 of them. We had 5. We added this one. And it's 3 words, and it's in this order. Our culture says challenge, decide, commit. That's it.
That's it.
It's challenge, period. Decide, period. Commit, period. What that means is you are encouraged in our shop to challenge ideas, challenge people, because it makes us better. There may be a perspective I hadn't thought about, and that's up to and including the CEO.
Yes.
Everyone can challenge our ideas. The organization will take all of the input and then make a decision for the organization, which of course factors in people, but at the end of the day, it's a decision. You then, as an employee, have to decide to commit or not.
Yeah.
That's an individualized decision because you've been given the opportunity in a safe, psychologically safe environment to raise the issue. We then make a decision, which you may or may not agree with, but then you have to decide to commit. And once you've committed, you are in. I don't want to hear it again. Don't look back. It drives me insane, when people look back. Well, no, that decision was litigated. It's not going to be really relitigated. And now you are committed to it. If you can't commit to it, you should go somewhere else.
Yeah. So I want to add let go. Commit and let go.
I love that.
Move forward.
Frozen. Let it go.
Totally.
Let it go. My daughter played that. Oh my God. She was a little girl at the time. It drove me insane.
And wore the dress.
Right. Totally.
Yes.
And the shoe, the whole deal.
The full thing.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have then for CHROs? We've got the 3 C's, which are gold. But if they're really struggling creating that connection with their CEO, what is your advice?
I can give you, it's because it's very personal. I remember doing it. I had a disconnect with one of my CEOs once. And it ended up, this is a positive story. We ended up in a perfect place. So the easy answer is if it's not working, leave. I called him up and I said, hey, let's go have lunch. And then I changed it. I said, let's have dinner. Because I find that lunch, it's not open. There's a time, and I got to go back to the rest of my meetings. And I wanted to sit down without the pressure of time. And we went to a place, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it doesn't matter. But this old rickety restaurant kind of deal. And we talked for about 2.5 hours. Yeah. And I started with not, how can I help you? No, tell me about your life.
Yeah.
How's your wife? How are the kids? And I asked the question, what keeps you up at night? And so we talked about it. And I didn't limit it to what's at work that keeps you, but literally,
just in general.
Because I'm getting to know the human being on the other side. And call it an hour and a half in. because we were actually just enjoying each other. And I never spent that much time getting to know this person.
So important.
And what are their drivers, what are the demotivators, et cetera, which was my fault, because during an interview, you don't get that much time.
No.
You're interviewing for the job, you meet the person, you get an hour, they look at your resume and they decide, right?
Yep.
So we never took that time. At the end of it, I said, now listen, I want to work here. And I looked him straight in the eyes. I said, I want to work here. And let me tell you what my job is. My job is to make you and this company successful. It's not to make me successful, because that's a byproduct of making you and this company successful. What do I need to do? I said, this is your safe space.
Yeah.
What bothers you about me? And he opened it. I had to give him permission to tell me. And, there were parts of it that didn't feel exactly great, but we talked for another hour and a half. This turned into a 3-hour dinner.
So awesome.
But I walked away understanding the truth for the first time.
His truth.
His truth. And because I couldn't figure out what was going on. I knew it was just and once I got it, I had to make a decision. Back to your point. This is my decision commitment moment. Now that I know honestly what he wants from a CHRO, ask myself, do I want to do it?
Do I want that job?
Because maybe I don't.
Yes.
Right. And you and I have been there, right?
We've been there.
And I made the decision to stay. He has literally, and unfortunately, he just died.
Sorry.
Young guy in a horrible accident.
Sorry.
He's the CEO of LendingTree. I can tell you, Doug Lebda was his name. He just died 3 months ago on those off-road motor vehicle. It flipped on him.
Oh, good grief.
So 55, 56-year-old young man. And of course, the younger you are, the older you are, the younger that looks. But yeah. And Doug and I became this tight. He called me up randomly about a year and a half ago. And he said, I was talking to my current CHRO and saying how much I missed you. Now, this was a situation that I was convinced was not going to work. I was like, this is not. But I gave him permission to tell me, you're the customer. What am I not doing right for you? To your point, I love when you say your truth, not the truth, your truth. And once you do that, anyone who's you have to give CEOs the permission to be honest with you. Right?
Yes, but there's something that happens that I want you to share. How is your mindset to handle the uncomfortable things he was sharing with you and not be defensive?
Hard as hell. I don't know it's hard.
It's so hard.
No one wants, especially at our level. You've achieved it, right? You're the CHRO, the CPO, and titles don't really matter, but whatever, you've done it.
Top dog.
Right. And now someone is suggesting to you that you're not good enough. What you do doesn't really matter. It's not a business function. There's a lot of things that, and so I'm not a drinker. I told you I've never had a drink in my life, but I probably should have gotten one before I had that conversation because he was brutally honest.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the stuff that you think. It was, and I remember, can I tell you just the 2 or 3 things that came out? Number one is he said, you're too judgmental.
Was that a new piece of feedback or was that a theme you could anchor?
I could anchor it, but it was new because it was direct. It has informed who I am as CEO, even to that earlier story before. I'm a lawyer by training. I came into HR by the law. So therefore I made judgment calls. You're going to say?
Well, I feel like it comes from the spirit of being curious. I get this feedback too.
Yes.
And so I ask questions like I'm interrogating somebody.
That's exactly.
Okay.
But mine went a little further. I used to be a pretty black and white guy because of my legal training.
Yeah.
That's right, and this is wrong. And here are the rules to support it. And I had no tolerance for risk.
Oh.
That's what it tied into. So
this is a big one.
It's a big one.
Especially for founders.
For founders, for sure, because they have a uber tolerance for risk.
Yes.
Look, say what you want about Elon Musk, but the reason he's successful is he has an unbelievable tolerance for risk.
Yeah.
You can't support such a person or be a part of their team if you don't have it. Yeah. Or at least respect that they have it and help them in it. So that was the first thing that stuck me. He said, you're too judgmental. And in the process of doing so, you want to play it safe. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying to grow LendingTree. It's a new concept no one thought about. And this doesn't work. That was number one.
Okay.
Number two, you actually don't know our business.
Uh-huh.
You know the HR business. You don't understand how we make money. You know all of the right language, EBITDA, EVA at the time. You know all of that good stuff. You've taken a course at Harvard for finance for non-finance professionals, like boo, 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 boo. He said, but you have no idea how we make money, what levers I have to pull and push to make money here. And he said, for example, you have no idea how much we actually spend on our call center. You got 500 employees over there. Have you and your team ever thought to go ask what we could do this if we outsourced it, co-sourced it? Have you ever thought about that? You'll do it if I tell you to do it as a project. But I want you coming
Thinking
to me as the CHRO saying, I know we spend X millions of dollars on this, and maybe we can spend X minus.
Yes.
And still get the same quality.
Yeah.
And it was really, and I said, whoa, you're right. I never thought I could come to you and tell you your annual merit increase budget according to Hewitt and Associates or whatever is supposed to be 3.5%. So we spent $1 million this year. Next year, we're going to spend $1 million plus 3.5. And I would argue with you that if you don't do 3.5%, we're not going to be competitive to market. He said, you know your craft, but you don't know my business. That was so sobering. I had to step back and as a CHRO, act like a true business person.
Yes.
Right? Have you had that? But that's hard because we're not wired that way. And we manage a significant, I mean, number one or number two biggest expense line in a business.
Ours.
Are people.
Yes.
But we don't think about, we manage within that box as opposed to, so that was the second. And then the third one, which I'm still kind of, I think he's right. He said, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was in the language of it so that I get it right, but because I don't remember the specific language. But the real takeaway was, you're competing with your colleagues and I can see it. I think too often we as CHROs,
we want to look good.
We want to prove that I'm as important as a chief marketing officer. I'm just as important as a CFO. So you end up competing and it's obvious.
Yes.
So you now can't turn around and ask that CMO to partner because they understand you're a competitor.
Yeah.
You're not a supporter. You're not an enabler. You're a competitor. And I asked him, he said, it's very clear to me, one day you want to be a CEO. I said, yeah. He said, it's very clear to everyone else sitting around the table.
Too.
And it was such a moment. I was like, oh, that's a dirty little secret. I thought
I was the only one that knew that.
And I wasn't. And so they won't use you as a resource because they see you as a competitor. Yeah. He said, do what you do really well, which is to facilitate these people looking better. You'll become a CEO that way. And so this morning, when the CEO, former CEO and founder of Pluralsight said that, one of your guys, you might want to tell the story, but that was his point, was that guy's going to be a CEO.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to compete with everyone else around the table.
Right.
His natural genius is going to come out.
It will. Yes. Yes. That's incredible.
So those are the three things that that competitive, because I was the general counsel who became a CHRO on my way very clearly to the seat I sit in. Mm-hmm. Everyone else saw that.
Mm-hmm. But at that time, that's rare. There aren't many CHRO successions into the CEO chair.
That's right. It's not. And we've got to find it. You got to find a better way to it. You don't want to do, I was so damn obvious that, again, I think it was clear. But it's what we should, because I think and Mike Milken has famously said he thinks the CEO of the future will come from the CHRO ranks. Mm-hmm. He fundamentally believes that because we're in a knowledge-based economy. And if you truly do what Doug told me to do, which is understand this business, yes, understand your craft,
yes,
but understand this business, you control the biggest lever in most organizations from a budget standpoint. You could be that person without competing because I would try to show it. As I reflected on it, and I don't mean now, I reflected on it then. I'm sitting in a meeting and the CFO would start going through their report and I would ask probing questions. to prove that I had
You were smart.
I was as smart as the CFO. And the chief marketing officer would do a presentation and I would give some thoughts about what's your CAC. Like I was using the language of business to prove that. And what I was doing was alienating the rest of my team because that confidant nature actually needs to apply to the entirety of the executive team, right?
It does. One CEO I love that I worked with said, "You're my business partner for me and the team."
For me and the team.
And that's exactly how it is.
That's right.
Yes.
It really, really is. So I do think that, and I hope that the people who are listening, there's a real possibility that CHROs will be the CEOs of the future. I'm proof of it. And I hope I've shared that I had to bump my way into it.
Yeah.
I did. And I'm lucky because these could have been derailers. But it all, if I can say anything to you, I sat down with a CEO who I didn't exactly get along with.
Yeah.
And I gave him permission to tell me why, because I knew that I got along with my past CEO. I mean, I was promoted into the CHRO job at a very young age at Blockbuster, so they loved it. There was something about him that I wasn't connecting with. And my biggest learnings came from that conversation and that relationship.
Well, just to even boil it down further, you were willing to look at yourself to say it's not his problem, it's my problem.
That's right.
What am I going to do to grow and change? Like your opening piece of it's on us as CHROs to figure out how we're going to grow and evolve to serve this customer CEO.
Period. And anything other than that, it's a customer service. I read a lot of books on servant leadership.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't like that word, but I love it because it really speaks that phrase, because it's not one word, but people don't like the word servant.
Yeah.
And I think that to do what we do, you have to have a heart that says, I actually want to see people be their best, right? Yes. I want to see people succeed. I want to optimize talent. And in doing so, I'm going to be the equivalent of a coach in an NFL team or NBA team or whatever sport you like. Coaches make a lot of money.
They do.
Because they know how to find talent. They know how to train and motivate and develop that talent so that we win. You don't have to throw a ball at all to be a very successful, well-paid coach CEO. But it requires a servant mindset, growth mindset.
Yes.
But this idea that I'm here to help you be the best you can be. And in doing so, I'll get mine. Hi, I'm Johnny C. Taylor Jr., President and CEO of SHRM. SHRM has been a Nectar customer for a few years now, and we've seen firsthand the positive impact Nectar's platform can have on a company's culture. Now, we're joining forces with Nectar to help more organizations build strong cultures where people feel valued and connected at work. In today's competitive landscape, a strong organizational culture is more important than ever. Meaningful recognition done consistently isn't just about boosting morale, but plays a key role in retaining top talent and improving overall performance. I'm proud to be a part of this journey and look forward to seeing the impact Nectar will have on your organization. Together, we can build workplaces where people feel truly appreciated and motivated to do their very best work every single day.
Can you share a little bit about what that does for you as a CEO when it's so lonely? How many people care about you? Ask how you are. Can I do something for you? Servant or not, how many times does that happen for you in the last 16 years?
Rarely, and it usually comes from my CHRO.
Okay.
That is, think about that. That's the person who, as crazy as it sounds, when Doug Doug was the gentleman who's now deceased, when he flew in on a red eye, I'm his CEO, his CHRO, I called his assistant and said, block out some time for him to have a massage. Yeah. Something as simple as taking care of him because no one else does. Yeah. His spouse, that got that. His kids everyone's pulling from him, even at home.
Yes.
So if I just facilitate and manage that thing to take care of him, that's the service. And I never took offense to it. I never thought I was too significant, too important for that. I began to realize, and he would then tell me, literally he went through a divorce and he told me in advance, this is what I'm going through. I knew it all, right? Because it's a lonely job. Yeah. My mother, I can talk to about anything, but she doesn't actually understand my world. She didn't, she didn't know this world. So I can't get anything to her. And other CEOs, that's why you see a lot of increasingly convenings of communities of CEOs.
Yes.
Because it's so lonely that you can't talk to anyone else.
No.
But you can only do this 3 or 4 times a year, once or twice a year. So having that CHRO to go down the hall, drop in their office and say, oh, that's the role that we play, because it is lonely, it's hard. And if you care, like I do, listen, I signed a 5-year contract with SHRM, whatever. So my life is not about my security. I'm up at night saying, how do I ensure that these employees have a job 5 years from now?
It's not just their employees. I stay up worrying about their families. And whoever else is on their benefits bill.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Lives, as we,
Yes.
How many lives do you insure? And that is pressure. People don't understand that. All they focus on is what we make and
what's in it for me,
and our title and our corner office and everything. And you don't realize when you go home, I'm still thinking, I live, breathe, sleep, SHRM. And SHRM the brand and SHRM the employer. I live it. That's all.
You are one and the same.
You look at my closet and I'm like, the other day I was like, there's nothing in here but SHRM decor. In fact, I was talking to our swag people.
50 Shades of Navy.
Right. That's it. They're ordering. I have SHRM socks.
Yes.
I don't have SHRM undies, but I have too much to say. But they're making me now a blazer that has, a SHRM.
Yes.
Like you literally, because you care, you live this. It's hard to separate, inextricably intertwined. And therefore, every employee should know that I'm doing this for you, for you. So it's a tough job, but guess what? This is something I do want to say. The CHRO job it's the same job. I felt all of the that's why I thought it was good preparation for me.
Yeah.
It's a lonely job as CHRO.
It is.
It's a complicated job. You are worried. You said it. I'm just not worried about the employees. I'm worried about their families. I'm worried about the community. I'm worried. And I know that I have to I've served two masters.
Yes.
The employee and the management or the business.
And the board.
So this is tough. Like my stakeholder group is not simple. And sometimes they are in conflict about, what's important.
And the customer.
And the customer. So so the CHRO job, I dare say, and I say this, and it's not just because I'm the CEO of SHRM, it's the hardest job on the management team. And I can say it because I've done it. I've done both. And it's in some ways even harder than the CEO, because guess what? You also have to keep the CEO happy. You got a ton of customers and audience members for those who are believe in audience centricity and marketing. I got a lot of audiences to make happy.
Yes.
And it's not hard. It's not easy right now. It's really difficult, in fact.
It is. And that's when this relationship is magic, like we started with. If we're coming back full circle,
right.
It's the place where I also can sit down and be safe.
Yes.
Like almost like take the mask off and say, I just have to vent with you about 10 minutes. This isn't a thing.
That's right.
But I just need to get it out. And then I'll put the mask back on and I'm back out in the uniform.
I love when my CHRO does that.
Right.
To me, because we are actually building a bond just by you doing that.
Exactly, because you're extending the trust back.
That's right.
Actually, you can't be the one. I don't like relationships where they're always asking me the questions.
Totally.
It has to be mutual.
That's right.
Yes.
When I went through a pretty, no divorce is pretty, and mine wasn't ugly comparatively, but it was divorce hurts, right?
Yeah.
And I remembered being able to sit down and share that with my CEO. Like just to say, this hurts. This was the same CEO that when I got married, I was another CEO at Paramount. I showed her the ring that I chose. And I was like, what do you think? Is this going to? So you can share your the things that are going great, but you also, and when I told her I'm going through this, I had a female CEO at the time. Actually, I had female CEOs a number of times in my career, but it was interesting that I could kind of say, Jane, and by sharing with her my vulnerabilities, she then began to share with me her vulnerabilities.
Yes.
And again, that bond was so close. I've had some amazing relationships. I've had one or two bad ones, but haven't we all? If you get old enough and you do this work, you're going to have them.
You're going to have them. And it makes the good ones that much sweeter.
Gosh. Well, you now know what you want. I think about you. If you ever were to do a CHRO job again, you know exactly what it feels like. And you know what questions to ask in that hour interview, as opposed to me getting there, uplifting my family, moving there, and then spending months saying, what in the hell did I just do?
I don't know.
Right?
I've had some pretty bad rebound relationships, Johnny.
Really? Tell me. Do tell.
Well, I mean, I think that what sometimes people think they want in the job in all the magic that we've described, and then getting that is different, especially if they've never experienced it before.
Fair enough.
I want you to have courage. And then I come with courage. It's like, oh, I don't want to hear that.
That much courage.
Exactly. Right. And so the question I'll ask is, what is it like for you to have me as your CHRO?
Oh, great question.
It's very vulnerable.
Great. It's kind of tantamount to that, right?
It's very similar to yours. And then you have to be able to hear it in a way that you can actually absorb it. And in one situation, we had spent hours together. Now, the difference is we did not meet in person. So even though we'd probably spent 10 to 15 hours together in the interview process, we didn't meet in person. And I think that would have been useful. And I think having the dinner, even before you go into it, you've got to do, especially if they're a first-time founder with a first-time C-suite.
Yes. They're learning.
And so it really depends on phase and stage on how to get it right.
You also, and I would say to CHRO, sometimes when you're in the market because you want a new job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you're doing it. And as much as people say, no, I don't, I'm not looking. Well, you wouldn't waste the time to do it. You're curious. You think you might take it, or why not? Who enjoys? It's like no one enjoys interviewing. I don't. But you've got to listen really carefully to who people tell you they are. One of my favorite poets is Maya Angelou.
Yes.
And she says, well, she's now deceased, but she said, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. And as I reflect on the not so good relationships that I've had with CEOs as a CHRO, they told me.
They told you.
They told me. It's like a bad personal relationship.
Yeah.
Like if you actually reflect back on when we were dating, that person kind of told me.
Yeah.
I was just caught up in the moment. I wanted it.
I'm caught up in the brand.
Right. The
Many
brand
things. The title.
of the company, or the title, the money.
The office.
The office, all of that.
Yeah.
And you decide to ignore what you actually, and so you replay it in your sort of life role. And you're like, during the interview, they did say this. I just was unwilling. And I didn't. So spend enough time during the interview and really be listening, extreme listening. Like, what are they saying? And probing. Because when I'm on an interview, you should be interviewing me. The last interview that I did for my CHRO job, I was like, you should interview me as much as I'm interviewing you, because we're going to be tight. And if you don't like me or you don't see my worldview, this ain't going to be good for you, because I'm not going anywhere.
No,
right?
I'm here.
I'm here. Back to where I started. The CEO's like the tree.
Yes.
And unless they do something really bad or don't deliver business results, they're going to be around.
They're going to be around.
The question is, will you be around? So you've got to figure out, do I want to work with this person? And that's we interview too much and we court too much, as opposed to really asking yourself, am I prepared to spend most of my waking hours with this person?
Right. It's an amazing question. Or do I want to be on a 12-hour plane flight with this person? I love that one too. Yeah.
That's right. And do you figure it out the first date? No, maybe not. But you got to ask yourself that, and ask real tough questions during the interview. Because I'm big now. Even when I took this role, Donna Morris, as the CEO, CHRO of Walmart, she was actually the head of the search committee for SHRM CEO when I was hired. And I'll never forget, asking her she was at Adobe at the time, and I had some tough questions because I wanted to know, guys, and I told
what am I signing up for?
What am I signing? And this is who I am. I'm in the C-suite already. I'm a CEO already. So if I come here, I got to know, who are you all? And it was complicated because I had a board that rotated every 2 years, or the board chair. So I had a new boss every 2 years.
Yeah.
So you can sign up for one person, and 2 years later, you got a new one. And this could happen in private sector. It does.
It
CEOs
does.
change.
Yeah.
But I knew every 2 years I was going to have a new boss.
Yeah. That's fun.
You can't predict what you got.
Right.
So no, I love it. I love what I do. I'm so passionate about the profession. That's a really important point.
You have to be passionate.
I am so passionate about the profession, but I do want to get this point in before you rustle me out of here. Two things can be true. I can be passionate about the profession, but I can be very honest about the profession.
Yes.
And the opportunities that we have. The world of work is changing.
It is.
In ways that none of us could have ever imagined. That means the world of HR has got to change.
It has to.
in ways that any of us. So this world that we live in, and I love the ambient noise. This is beautiful because that means we're talking for real, right?
Right.
No world is perfect. I love it. Some of what has made us successful over the last, call it 5 years even, is not going to work going forward.
What got us here won't get us there.
Period. And when members of our profession aren't willing to hear that because they are resistant, they're holding on to the past, they are literally hurting themselves and they're harming the profession. My real goal is to get those 60% of the people, remember 10, 60, 30, into the category of 10. Like, I really love you all. There's always going to be a group of people where there's a mismatch. I got that.
For sure.
Got it. And so, it's funny. I'm a strengths guy, so I don't focus on my weaknesses. That 30% I haven't thought about. Like NPS, I don't worry about the detractors. Like, nothing I can do. But those folks in the middle, we need to move over. And the only way we're going to move them is to have some real honest dialogue about our profession and how the world of work is changing, and therefore we must change.
It's true. It's a big shift, like when we went from the industrial age to the knowledge worker age. Now we're in the intelligence age.
Totally.
It's got to shift, and it'll be as seismic.
And I know I said I got one, but COVID was a classic example of this. That really, like, overnight we were forced to do it. But here's something. If your CEO at the time had come to you February of 2020 and said, we're all working in an office 5 days a week, tomorrow we're now going to work remotely. Every HR leader I know would have said, you need change management, you need, the experts to come in, the consultants. Like, we can't just do it overnight.
But we all did it.
But we did it. We did it. And you can do it. And we've got it now, but now that means everything that we got used to in COVID, we've got to pivot back out.
Coming back out. Yep. Back to office.
And you got to do it on the same dime. Like, we've proven agility. We've proven that we have the ability to do this. And that doesn't mean working in office is the right thing. I believe in hybrid. I believe in remote. It just depends upon your culture. Like, whatever your culture is, figure that part out.
Yes.
But we in HR have to come with it. We have
do.
to. We're fighting our business leaders.
Be leading it.
Or be leading.
Why are we
That's
behind?
even better. Lead it.
Yes.
And I'm not seeing enough of that. And when those of us try to lead, sometimes you attack us. But, steady is whatever the saying goes, but the rabbit and the tortoise or whatever,
Yes.
You can get to the other side of this.
Yes.
And I think we are. So I believe we're at a pivotal change in HR. I know we are.
We are.
And there are a lot of folks who are holding on to the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, even the 2020s.
Yep.
And they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
They're just not going to make it. Business is moving too fast for us to be holding on to the past.
It's so true.
Oh, that's a great, I like that rhyme.
That's a good one.
That's a good rhyme.
I know. We need a country song.
Right? Let me tell you. Country or R&B.
They're the
same thing.
We'll do a combo.
They both go tell you about, oh my God, what's happening there. Well, that would be a nice mashup.
That would be good.
We're
going to do it. I think we have some quick hit questions, Talmadge, at the end, like some fun questions, like inside the actor's studio.
Oh, yeah, love those.
I know, I love those. What's one leadership habit you thought mattered early in your career, but now believe is overrated?
Yeah. Forcing people to work hard.
Oh, horrible.
Early in my career, and I came from a law firm.
Yes.
Billable hours, you know the game, right? And so I thought that amounted to success because that is how you became a partner.
It's true.
And
not
now,
quality, just quantity.
Right. And now I understand that, we're not machines. You can't work me 24 hours and think that Goldman Sachs is learning that. Like but Bank of America, like when people are dying at their desk. And I thought early on that was the way. Just work yourself and the winner will be the person who works the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. If you could give one message to CEOs and CHROs, what would it be?
Build mutual trust. Mutual. You must be vulnerable to each other.
Yeah. That's beautiful. What question would you have for the next CEO who's on this show?
Tell me your biggest failure.
Okay.
I mean, and like the anatomy of it, not just, and not your easy one. Oh, I mean one where you just failed. And it doesn't have to be a business situation. I think it gets to know, because I think we grow out of failure and we don't talk about failure enough at all. We don't even reward failure. I have a question that I ask every person during my interview. Tell me of a time when you failed. And when someone cannot give me an answer, a deep, real answer, right?
Yeah.
They're not, I don't want to work with them.
Yeah.
And especially when you're working closely with me, because we all fail. Yeah. And there's so much growth. I get a lot of growth out of success, but I get a ton of growth out of my failure moments. So that would be my one question is tell me when you have really, I mean royally failed.
I had 2 multi-million-dollar offers go out for VPs that were not approved by me or the CFO.
Yeah.
I went into the conference room table and I threw my key card. I'm like, you should just fire me.
Yeah.
And the CFO did too. We were like, here are key cards. We really fouled this up.
You fouled it up.
And luckily only one said yes. So we were cleared.
Yeah. I got to tell you, Cynthia, you didn't ask, but I was reviewing a contract. This is when I was a lawyer. I was general counsel of a huge company. And I signed, similar to you, I approved a contract that said $100 million instead. No, it said $10 million instead of $1 million.
Oh.
So I missed the zero in it. And the client made us honor the $10 million fulfillment.
Good times.
I literally, like you, walked in and said, I failed. Now, it just is such a great, I was going through a divorce quietly.
Oh.
And I didn't share with my CEO what was going on in my life.
Yeah.
And so instead of firing me, he didn't. Empathy came out, but he couldn't have been empathetic if I had, and I didn't use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
But he was like, why didn't you tell me you were going through this? You got this going on, da-da-da. I would have probably asked you to take some time off.
Yes.
To help you.
Yes.
But you didn't tell me, and so he didn't fire me. Should have, because, I mean, I talk about malpractice. I really malpractice. I left the sponge in the body and sewed it back up.
To me, it's just 007. I live to die another day. It's just not today.
That's it. And I have so many learnings from that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing. This was amazing.
It's amazing. I got to do this again.
Let's do it.
For Oprah, I got you.
We've got to each other. Let's do another season.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Appreciate it.
Hey there, my name is Nate Bagley and I'm the executive producer of the Culture Creators Show. I just wanted to let you know that if you are a SHRM member, we added a really awesome and valuable bonus resource pack to help you put today's conversation into action. If you want access to it, just go to culturecreators.show, scroll to the bottom of the page for this specific episode. Under the SHRM Asset section, you'll find a diagnostic evaluation checklist, a 3Cs resource, and a worksheet that you can use with your team. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.